For some projects, using a rule or the scale on your table saw's rip fence is just fine, but for more precision, I made a sled to hold my digital calipers, which works pretty well. Plus, by moving the sled forward and back, I can use it to calibrate the angle of the fence. Hi, I'm Paul, and this is OpenWoodShop.com. I had some plexiglass laying around the shop that I used to cut the runners and slide with, and angled the cuts at 14 degrees to hold the slide in place. I traced the outline of the calipers onto some plywood, cut the pieces out, and screwed them to the plexiglass slide, holding the calipers firmly in place. And I wasn't sure how that was going to work out, but it worked a lot better than I expected. Once the calipers are dropped into place, they need to be clamped down to the sled, and the only place to do that is on the upper jaw of the calipers. I'm setting up to measure on the side of the blade closest to the fence, so the fence is carefully moved over to just touch the teeth of the blade. Then the end of the calipers butt up against the fence and are clamped down. My calipers have 4 different scales, and the measurement scale I'm using goes down to 1/28 of an inch. Turning the locking thumb screw is a little difficult, so later on I come back and cut a little more space around it. For this first test, I'm just picking out a random measurement, and it happens to be 27 1/28 of an inch. The fence is carefully pushed up against the now extended depth gauge so that it just touches. I thought about leaving a slight gap and using feeler gauges to measure the gap and making a measurement adjustment, but as you'll see, this seemed to work out pretty good, and it's a lot easier. The depth gauge is pulled back so that I can slip the sled out, and now it's time for the first test. I only have one set of calipers, so I have to release them from the sled and check out how well my quick and dirty invention has done. "27 1/28 of an inch. How about that? I mean, there was never a doubt in my mind. After the first test, I noticed that my calipers seemed slightly less than perpendicular to the fence, and checking, sure enough, they are off quite a bit. Still, I wound up getting a perfect cut, so if I fix this, will that mean I'll get a perfecter cut? Well, you know, I can't leave it like this, and I have to fuss around with it until I get it just right. Even then, I found out that the angle can change once you clamp the calipers down, so I guess it's a good idea to check for square whenever clamping the calipers into place. For test number 2, I decided to try something more precise with thousandths of an inch. The random number for this test is 51 thousandths of an inch. Right on the money. My work here is done. And now it's off to other things.